These are stories from children that were adopted by white mothers or white parents, I should say. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much for clicking. Thanks for coming back to this channel. So in this video, this lady is talking about asking, putting it out there because she's black, and she's asking to say, when did you realize that your parents shouldn't have adopted black children or children of color? So these go about explaining their experiences. Now I'm going to roll up these videos so that we can discuss at the end of this, because these guys have had some pretty interesting experiences.
A question to my fellow mixed race peeps out there. When did you realize that your white parent should have never have had children of color? I'll go first. My mother has 3 children of color. I'm the youngest, and the like turning point, like a lot of stuff that's happened when I was younger, I didn't realize it was problematic until I got older. But this one hit me straight in the face. My sister, her kids, and my mom and I, we were on our way to go see my grandmother. My mom's radio station went to commercial. I changed it to the hip hop station of our town. She then proceeds to slam her hand on the radio to try to change it and said, and I quote, "I'm not listening to that nigger shit."
What? Bro, what? I'm out for now, okay? Like, I'm out of this car for now, I guess. And when you're a child, you really don't have much of a choice because you're staying with these people and they think like they can say anything to you. And if there's something that a person of color hurts to be called is the N word, do not use that, okay? Or you get in trouble for it.
When did you realize that your white parent should have never...
Okay, so I'm adopted from Ethiopia. I grew up in a pretty big family. Seven of my siblings are also adopted from other countries, and we have 2 white moms. And so there was this one time I was in 11th grade, and I was sitting on the couch. My mom comes in, and she goes, "Please don't be offended by what I'm about to ask you." And I'm like, okay, what is it that you want to know? Then she proceeds to ask me, why is it that you feel so strongly for the Black Lives Matter movement when technically you aren't a part of the group? And I was confused. So I go, what do you mean by that? And she says, well, you don't have ancestors that were slaves, and you're also adopted from another country, and you have a white parent. And then she goes on to say, and if reparations were even going to be a thing, you wouldn't be getting any. So why do you fight so hard? And honestly, after that, I'm not even going to lie, like my heart hurt it because I just couldn't understand why my mom, regardless of her race, would not get that.
When did...
If we're gonna say you're my parent or I am your child, then we stand together, all right? You understand me, I understand you, my sides and your sides, and to become one thing. So if I have a concern or something, you should be able to understand me, or at least be able to explain things in a way that would not hurt my feelings or make me question your standing with me. Man, this was hard. Like, this was just hard. Like, you don't have black ancestors, you don't have etc. Where did she come from? Are you crazy?
You realize that your white parent should have never have had children of color?
First off, I love my family. I'm so grateful for being adopted and having a second chance at life. There is no doubt about that. But I think there are some things that they really should have reconsidered saying and doing for their children. So my adopted parents already had 2 biological children, and then they adopted 3 black kids from Africa, my sister and I, and then a 3rd one from Liberia. You know how when people have babies to save a marriage? That's kind of how I felt when it came to us being adopted. It did not work. But like a lot of my past videos that people have seen, none of us know anything about our homeland, our culture, no connections to family, meh. But my biggest problem was the fact that my dad always seemed to use us as trophies. Whenever we got introduced to somebody, there was always this weird long moment where he was just telling the entire story of how he went to go get us. When high school came, all he did was boast about my black brother because he was in football. Never boasted about his biological children. When asked why he adopted kids, his answer was always, I just wanted to add in some color.
Definitely sounds like a CV to me, because you've heard how she's explaining that he would go about how he went to get them from Africa and everything. I guess in that he was also trying to say he was being like helpful to these people. Nobody wants to be mention or put in the face if they helped you with something. Like all the time, I'm gonna come up at this as a story to say, oh, I did this and that, I got this person from there. I think it was pretty much uncomfortable for all her life. This girl right here, man, no. That's heavy. No.
When did you realize that your white parent should have never had?
When did I realize that my white parents should have never adopted black children? I realized it when my mom didn't understand why I wanted to join a historically black sorority. I learned it when I thought about all the times I was told that my parents don't see color. I learned it when my parents' biological son / my brother told me that I only got my scholarship to college because I'm black. And I learned it when I remembered growing up that when I would get in trouble, my parents would tell me to shut my cotton picking mouth. So yeah, if you're gonna have children of color, you need to educate yourself a lot better, because now I'm suffering from trauma and trying to heal. And it's not fair whatsoever for any black child to have to go through these things.
So now this lady here is having to fight the traumas of growing up in a home like this, because everybody's putting it in her face why she got this and that. And she basically, as you have heard, did not really have a voice, because she was shut up, I think, at any sort of contribution that she would try to make that was not in line with them or according to them or did not sit right with them. I can't imagine having to live a life like that long until I grow up, because you begin to internalize these things as you grow up. It's not easy to just let some things pass, because you're going to think about your people too at the end of the day, because now you're being segregated in a home. Like, you're meant to feel like a whole different person from the rest when it's supposed to be a family.
You realize that your white parent should have never.
I just wanted to point out that 90% of these stories all have the same common denominator: white mothers.
You can clearly see and clearly get it that these guys have had a tough life growing up, from things they have heard, experiences they've had, how they have been treated, and now that they're older, others still have to deal with traumas of these things growing up and these experiences, because of course these families are big. You're going to experience something else when you get to your grandmother's or your grandfather's, or even if it may be okay in the home, but there'll always be that one person, you get me, that one person that just checks in and just leaves you thinking, what was that? Was that necessary? Do I deserve that? Having you question every bit of everything else. I'm so sorry, like, it doesn't really have to be that way. If you're going to be somewhere for somehow in a place of somebody, or you're going to be there for them, please do not remind them of their pain. Please do not make them feel any different. Those are my standings, you guys. I don't know what you guys think about this, but this is just crazy, all right? And I know that there's so many others that are passing through such experiences because they have adoptive parents and etc. Please comment below what you think in the comment section. Remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel and also watch more videos on this channel. I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming. I'll see you in the next one.